and haven't shared yet. Hey guys, this is me and Tim. We're going to be looking at.
Hello.
We're going to be looking, trying to answer the question: when is a group healthy? When is it safe? When can you leave it? Tim left a comment on that. Recently, we posted a 5-dan game. And I've talked with the 5-dan, and people have asked him the same question that Tim asked me. It's like, that group's so weak. How can you leave it like that? So we're going to try to answer some of those questions this morning. Oh, that's my alarm. Let me turn it off. All right. My wife whistled my alarm music just to try to bother me. Okay. So I put together some examples. Now, in the old days, we never used to play this AI way. We would always extend. But AI says Sente is most commonly bigger than an extension. So we leave a wall like this alone. One wonders why. How can it be healthy? Well, if we add the rule, it's not a rule. If you've got at least 3 options for health, you're healthy. And on this group, we can extend to the side on 1, we can extend to the center at 2, center at 3, and we can, for maybe a whole option or a half option, we can bother that lonely white stone on the right. So there's at least 3, if not more, options for health. So if white came in, we can run out so easily, right? I mean, this is not unhealthy. This is easy and casual. So now there's other things like how much profit is white getting? So for instance, if we give white a nice little shamari here, and it's black's move, well, there's a good likelihood black's going to play on the bottom because both players want it so much. This might be a pretty nice extension for white. Does it make black unhealthy? No, that was easy defense. Yeah, but kind of profitable for white. But that's a matter of profit, not a matter of health. So Tim, make sense so far?
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I agree with that. I still tend to run a little older school myself stylistically. Like, I think I would still, even now with the completely open board state, might still prefer that extension. But, again, like, you're really going to encounter the situation in a completely open board state. I think, like your example of the white stones in the upper left, or even if there are black stones in the upper left, I think that would be a little more realistic. But yeah, I still find it personally hard to leave these 3 stones as they are. I just don't like having to deal with it later personally.
Yeah.
But I understand, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so next, we put one down here. And here's one that's much harder for me. AI says, well, now we're getting a little edgier, but if you want, you can leave this group alone too. And it's like, what are you talking about? If we walk away, aren't we going to get attacked? Well, yeah, but you got a whole move away and you are still fine. And I'm like, come on. Aren't you getting a little silly? I mean, you don't actually have even 3 options for health. You have 2. Yeah, but you're out. So I only use that when Sente is very valuable to me. And AI was going to, play his move. But sometimes we play away because we're not in danger. We'll simply suffer some value later. Okay, moving on to another example.
Yeah.
And Tim also teaches. If anyone likes what he has to say and wants to listen more, he teaches. Go. Okay.
Yeah, I would say like if people are like lower Q, maybe DDK to weaker single digit Q, like I will happily teach people in that territory to try to get them up to the next level. That's probably my sweet spot for students.
Now we're going to talk about the A group, but the board's a bit cluttered. Let me do it from here. So we usually play here, but why we're playing there is important. Black's alive. Why in the heck are we playing again? Well, we'll just come out.
You want my answer? Okay.
No, right. That was rhetorical. He's still alive. Yeah, but that's a big move to get in Sente. So black comes out again, and we'll just, for the sake of shortness, put it here. And like we said, black was alive. Yeah, but the last three moves black played were all pitifully small. The first one was inside his own area, while white's getting outside thickness, more points than black. So it costs when you group not just alive, but it's not healthy. We don't like getting pushed around. So we finish it with coming out like that. And here we are again. White could play away, allowing this, and we go, well, we can come under, we can come out. I mean, it's not like we're in danger, but again, our opponent is getting free stuff by the attack. Okay, so that's the example there. I just put together some examples. Here's one. White's certainly fine. White's alive, but that Sente, yeah, you're going to live, but you're playing all these inside moves, right? I mean, you're barely living. When the time comes, this is going to be painful. So we want to form groups that we can trust later, because Go isn't about what happens next move, what happens in 100 moves from now, because the game's going to crescendo, and we've got to have our groups ready for that. Okay, well, there. What's that about? That's the options. Oh, so white to play. White approaches. Now that's a big move, right? And black could say, "Oh, I better defend." At which point white got that for free. Well, black says, "No, go ahead and attack me." Well, we don't exactly have three. Number three isn't. Yeah, it's getting tight. If we play away again, well, we're still getting out. So it's just getting harder and harder. White's getting more and more profit. So it's never about do I die next move, but how much trouble am I getting in? Okay, let's see if I made any more examples. Oh yeah, this is just, yeah. So all the marked black moves, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All the white moves chasing, profit, profit, profit. Yeah, that's what, whoa, don't get chased around. He's the one getting profit. And then that. Okay, so that's the end of the little examples I put together as kind of a base to talk about. So next, I'm going to load some. I think for the viewers, let's bring up the game in question, which is this one. I need to share the screen. And there's the black group, right there. Now, at this stage, speaking to the viewers, black's not at all concerned. How come? Well, white's B group is weaker than the A group. We're not concerned. Okay. So far, there's no questions about it. Okay. Okay. We did all this. Black decides to. So here, black makes a decision. And you see him, and I've talked with him about this. You see him thinking, okay, maybe it's time to play here. Maybe, is it just a minute? That group's not bad. If I take care of my other group, then I'm strong, I have points, and I only have one group to take care of, and that's not hard. Okay. So he's concerned about the two groups here, the A group and the B group. Okay, so he takes care of this group.
Yep.
And notice now, white has a wall this high. That's 11 lines high, right? Black is officially behind enemy lines. Black has 0 eyes. White has no weak groups. So we're seeing danger. Now, white falters here and hands Sente over. We're going to see it soon. I mean, black can now live or connect under. This is getting more and more. I'm trying to get back to the basic example. Okay, black's alive in the upper right. White connects under. So due to that whole sequence, black gets Sente, and he doesn't come back. I thought he did come back. Okay, so let's go back to here and white to play. And let's look at the A group. How can we attack it? Tim, give me some coordinates for attacking, and we'll kind of go through them, I think.
Sure. Yeah, I've been looking, and just to be clear, I still think that black might have gotten away a little easy with getting to save the top right beat group like
Oh, yeah.
earlier. We don't necessarily dive into that, but like I think white had a better opportunity to make an actual splitting attack on those two groups earlier in the game. But barring that, now that black has saved one of them, yeah, we should look at how can we make some kind of severe attack against that stick in the middle of the board, right?
Yeah.
Currently has maybe one eye, right? If one eye and Gote perhaps.
Maybe, yeah. There you go.
And
One eye.
so moves that kind of jump out at me would be like a capping play because like it looks like the easiest direction for black to go is upward. So maybe M9, yeah. Although it's harder to see. I don't know. I was gonna say it's harder to see where we're gonna get profit there, but it's really not. Like even if we drive that black group to the left and we build a wall there across the middle of the board, like that upper left area could develop to be quite large. Even if that black group doesn't die. And then alternatively, like if we wanted to try to make more direct profit, which is probably incorrect, something around K6, K7, something like that, to try to build up that lower left side group. But I think that's smaller than the capping move at A, personally.
Yeah.
Those would be my tentative picks.
Right. I would think A, B, and C. Now, when we look at a move like A, that might potentially mean D. It might potentially mean E, but that's one option for running in that direction. And when we talk about B, well, that might be D. But C and D, that's two different directions to run. And so we're seeing, sure looks like there's three. So let's look at solving the problem. I guess we're looking at white to play. But let's, I like solving the first problem, which is assuming black plays first. I want to make it more difficult. I guess there's a move I want to talk about because, so if we're in trouble and we need help, where's the help? Our ace stone. So if we're in trouble, which I'm claiming we're not, then the contact play, we're threatening to gobble up the stone with the help of the extra black stone. So we're getting a lot of extra help here. Okay. Now that I've had my piece with that, we need to start looking at white moves. Let's start here and we'll just run out. We can run with the knight's move because we're so backed up that it's not going to get cut. Let's go that way, and I don't like that all of a sudden. Let's get out without the cut. Now we have to accept that white A just got 2, 4, 6 or more points. And if white goes again, that's an extra 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So white is gaining. On the other hand, how many eyes does white's A group have? None. Now, granted, it's not horribly weak either because it can capture B for one eye, and it can mess around at C for an eye. But black can do things like start here to get his eye, take white's away. The only point there is that black's not the only one with issues. Also, as black's running, he's getting into area 1.
Sorry.
Say again?
I was going to say, I think that's why my gut was the capping play, just because it does help mitigate that weaker white group while also attacking black. But
no, you're right. That makes more sense because this one is, even though this might be black's easiest direction, it's not very profitable. Let's look at the other way. Once I get on the right button, and we'll do the cap. Looks, for now, certainly safe. Let's go back to this move. It's so useful. Mike's best response is to just let that happen. Black's going to live pretty casually here, I think. Yeah. And white got no profit.
Yeah, I think as white, I would almost be tempted to ignore black's J4. Just let black live and take another big move there toward the middle. Even here, you could still take a move toward the middle. But yeah, just something to begin building that upper left area at a large scale, maybe.
Which direction? ABC kind of directions?
Something around A, probably. Yeah, something that still says like, hey, if you don't respond, like if they don't gobble up J3,
yeah,
then now you'll save J3 and they'll have a bigger problem because now K8's already on the board, something like that. And then maybe we still get a bigger follow up as well, something like C10 or something afterward. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to ask the question, like, is black winning this game? Or who's ahead now?
Yeah. And that presents probably a pretty interesting question. I mean, we allow black to live, give black 2, 4, 6, 8, dare I say 10 points, but white gets 2 moves away in an area where it's looking pretty interesting. Yeah. Which presents a new puzzle for black. Now, black is the one with the points. and white has all his eggs in the one basket. So black's not too concerned, but there are, and there's lots of ways in. But yeah.
Yeah.
So for viewers, you see the issues we're looking at. Let's go back to the beginning. So it's here is the first time we can breathe and make a decision about the B group. Now, if black plays here and I'm white, I'm after the 3 stones in the upper right. In my mind, they have 5 times the trouble that the other black group did. I would not let that group go. But the B group, I hate to say it looks alive, but it looks pretty healthy to me. Tim, have you played professionals much? I played
No, I have not.
hundreds and hundreds of games against professionals, and it's like when you get in trouble, man, you're in big trouble. And so when I say, oh, the B group's fine, I just start imagining some of my professional 9-dan experiences, like, well, I think I'm okay. I mean, it does get risky, but that's, part of go.
Sure.
Okay,
Right.
I don't know if we'll look at that again. I was thinking of bringing up some more examples. Did you have bring any examples you wanted us to look at, Tim?
I did not have time. I had a guest come visit
No problem.
unexpectedly, so
Let me,
I didn't have time to find examples myself. I figured you would have plenty.
yeah, I do actually. Um, let's bring this one up. Share it. I remember saving this game. I don't remember what it looks like, but there's an example in here we'll get to. Now, this question comes up a lot more in handicap games. First, we know our opponent is 5 stones weaker than us, this 5-stone game. So there's a natural tendency to let your group go a little bit more, thinking they're not going to pull it off. But that attitude suggests he's going to make a mistake. No, the attitude is, I'm pressing the edge more. Keeping it on the side of sane, rational, don't maybe put a little tiny bit of a toe over the edge, but that's it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, well, I did a video on this, so I don't want to redo it. But we see first, does black have a weak group? Yeah, he does. Completely surrounded. And I mean, just imagine. I mean, I'm not ready to do it right now, but this black group has issues. I hate getting surrounded. So at some point, I actually don't remember where the position is that's an example, but in my mind, there's so many examples along the way. If we look at this black group and this A group, I mean, I've got it. I mean, he's chasing me, right? Oh my goodness, it's terrible. Look at all the profit he's getting on the left because I'm getting chased. So get your group out. Don't think, oh, but my A stone might die. That's beside the point. Doesn't matter. Okay. And here in a real game, I'd play away, but I thought, well, I'll take his corner away. It's kind of fun. Live. Incente, thank you very much. At some point, oh, here he does it again, doing the surrounding thing. It seemed to me I had a weak group. maybe I put this together because it's such an example of his bad example. Here's another one. Check out, it's probably obvious, but if I do nothing and he plays here, once again, I have this. Heck, that looks like a dead group to me, that white group. Doesn't have one eye, can't get, oh, it's horrible. So you got to come out, okay. I think this was the example. Okay, my group on top. It's like a little weak there. A is not yet an I. However, so here we go. I can get an I at A. His corner group is in jeopardy. So a white move like B, at that point, I think I can kill the group, or at least give it serious trouble. So B is very helpful to me if I get it in Sente to get an I on top. So that's two kind of options. So I'm thinking, great, let me go ahead and get that other I. And I'm feeling alive. But before that, I'm seeing this C stone. Well, there's some stuff to do there, right? There's a knight's move here, a cut over there, big old gap here. Let's look into that first. Okay, he's better, come back and fix. So there's a pattern to keeping the groups healthy. If I thought playing away was really important, wow. I think I just might be dead. So clearly walking the line. But if we ask what profit did Black get, in this case, none. I waited until the last second and Black got virtually no profit. So I don't know if that was partly helpful, but comes up a lot in handicap games. So Tim, how are we doing on answering the question?
I think within the specific context in which I asked it, which was that previous game, I think there was some value in exploring some of the variations there for sure. I think at the end of the day, it's still always going to be a hard question to answer, right? Because sometimes your opponent leaves behind a group that looks like the one in the previous game, and it does die, right? Or you get a severe attack against it, and sometimes you don't. And I think that's part of the risk reward. And it was just, when I saw that game from Triton being reviewed on his end, it or maybe I think I saw you review it, whichever way. I think I saw it both ways. But it just looked like the risk to reward ratio was a little high, especially when it was the split between the two Black groups. And again, that was just from my perspective, which is admittedly weaker, right, than his. So his judgment's going to be stronger than mine. To me, if I were in an even game against somebody in that position if they had the Blackstones in that weak group, I would probably be thrilled, because even if I were behind, at least I'd feel like that was something that might keep me in the game.
Yeah.
But clearly wasn't the case in that instance. In Triton's game for sure.
Yeah.
I am personally, and maybe this could be a personality thing, right? I'm personally a little more hesitant to leave behind weak groups, at least ones that appear that weak to me, which maybe is an area for me to improve as well.
Yeah. So in answering the question, we're talking about there's personality. I don't like doing that. There's lots of things I know I'm not doing right, but I'm not going to change that until I know darn good and well, because it's just not my personality to play that risky or something. And then there's playing levels. So let me just remove a few stones here. so I can talk about something. So we don't use this Joseki anymore. I mean, we don't. Strong players almost never do. It was a staple for hundreds of years. But let's say you're 10Q and you learn this Joseki. Play it. Play it till you're one done. You're going to be fine. You don't need to search out 100% moves. You'll never be able to back them up. You'll never be able to fight like that. You'll never be able to do this or that. So playing, I'll use the term substandard moves. All humans are going to do that all the time throughout all ages. And it's not an issue to play less than perfect because you will forever. So if you're 10Q, just settle your group. Just settle your group. I remember I used to strain trying to find the perfect Joseki for the situation. And my teacher, the great Mr. Yang, he says, "Oh, just settle. Don't worry about it. Just settle your group." And it's like he's saying that like that's fine up until you're professional. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, "Oh man, okay." And since then, it's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I pay some attention, but not like I used to." So there's the level you're playing at, where just play at your level. That's fine. Then there's, what about this move? Oh, you're going to get attacked. Yeah, but it'll be fine. Okay, well, now you're talking about, 7 dan, 8 dan, professional level. It's like, Koreans came up with this, and it's like, really? I mean, we wouldn't dream of this, but nowadays, if you want to ignore it, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, so there's a lot of things to think about, but do what you're comfortable with. You're the one playing Go. It's your game. Take responsibility for your groups. Now, Tim's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to extend and have a healthy group. Yeah, you say I'm healthy anyway, but not healthy enough for me. So for me to be responsible, I'm going to add a stone. Then do it. That's what you should do. That's your responsibility. And it took me a while to get used to this new AI concept. Oh, just leave the black group alone. It'll be fine. Like, holy cow, that's hard to get used to. And then they used to do the uh, uh, contact on the fourth line, giving your opponent fourth line territory. And all the professionals are like, what? And AI says, oh, yeah, but then you get the center. Really, some new ideas came around with AI. Okay, I guess that covers everything, Tim, unless you have any other questions.
No, I don't have any other questions. I was just going to anecdotally add that I'm kind of with you where you're saying you're having a hard or you had a hard time. It's kind of switching to this AI style of play. I'm still there. Like if you watch me play games, which I more do in person than online, but I play a very orthodox style still. Like people would consider the way I play to be
Yeah,
old,
yeah,
But to me, like the kind of opinion that I maintain is that like if it was good enough for professionals for hundreds of years, it's probably still fine for me to play.
yeah,
Even if it's slightly suboptimal.
yeah,
And I find that to be the case. And in fact, like what you were saying before, is like sometimes people play these AI style moves and they don't have what's necessary to back them up all the way. Like if somebody, like you were saying, if somebody attached to my fourth line stone and gave me fourth line territory, I'm going to be happy. Like maybe they'll find a way to make that work, but like
yeah,
I'm initially going to be very happy with that kind of exchange.
yeah. I was very happy with, we'll call it orthodox play, and I could win all my games as 5 dan doing that. But then my desire, I want to keep going. It's like, okay, all of a sudden, how in the world are you going to beat a 6 dan or a professional by playing 5-dan moves. It's like, okay, what else do I have to learn? How can I start eking out more profit? And so it's a harsh journey for sure. Okay, viewers, hope it was helpful. The question came up a number of times for the author of the game and me, and he and I got together and talked about it. So hopefully it was helpful to some of you. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Bye. Say goodbye to Tim. Bye, Tim. There you
Have a good
go.
day.